Okay, folks, we're going to use this shooting board right here to carve off. I've got the little ramp that I built that's at 7 degrees. You can see it right here. And the board, the little thing has all been cut at the 7-degree angles right now, but it's too wide to fit the board, the slot right there. So I've got to shave it down on each side until it's a perfect interference fit. And we're going to run the shooting plane. Now this is the shooting plane. It's regular. I mean, it's not a regular hand plane. It's designed for exactly for a shooting board. It's got a square surface right there, and it fits down in this groove just like this. And it uses this plane iron, which is very narrow and very sharp. Very narrow. I mean, I'm not cutting very thick slices off there. It's going to be, you know, maybe a few thousandths of an inch as it goes across there. So I'll run it twice each time and then check it, run it twice each time and check it. And I'll check both ends because I want it to fit same way all the way across. So I need to test one end and then turn around and test the other end right here. And it should be able to fit at that point exactly the same way all the way across. So I'm going to stand up. And so you'll be able to see me working from here. You won't be able to see my head over there, but you'll be able to see the work. And so I've got a camera right here. It's going to get a close-up of this shot, a camera above that you can see the strokes I'm making with, and we'll see how that works. So right now it's too wide, so I'm going to take a thin strip off of here. All right, so that's the first strip I've taken off there, and here it is. You can see that if I stretch that out, it's very thin. So it's just a few thousandths of an inch thick. So let me just test it now. I should do that after every time. Still won't fit, so I need to take one more. I think I'm going to test every pass that I make through here. So I'm trying to get it just right. And I'm holding up tight against the plane. I make a slice. And there's another one of those little strips right there. So we'll try this fit here. I'll try it from both sides. Still doesn't quite fit. Getting closer though. All right. And like I said, that plane needs to be very, very sharp. So we're almost there, I can tell. Let me see. The reason I'm turning this around is because I may be cutting a little bit more from one end than the other. And if I get that way, then I'm going to have to kind of skew this this piece to straighten it back up. But right now, I think I'm getting good thin slices all the way across. Okay. All right, that went in, but it's still too tight. Let me see what it does on the other side here. That end goes in a little bit further. What about down here? It won't even go in down there. So I'm going to take one more full slice and see what that does. All right, now it's going in a little further. Let's try it from this side. Yep, that goes in. See, so it's looser here than it is on this end. So that means that I'm going to have to skew it a little bit. That the further I get in here, the tighter it gets. So that means that this board, now that I've dropped it, I can't find, I got to figure out which one. That was the loose end. So that's the end that's kind of loose. This is the end that's tight when it gets to right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this board here, and I'm going to pull it up, rack it just a little bit so that it starts cutting. In fact, I'm just going to cut. I'm going to start in the middle and go to the end here. And let's see how that does. I think I need this in. Cut a little bit more. Start in the middle. Go towards the end. All right, we're getting close. There, let's try it from this end. Oh, that's still tight on that end. Let me see if it goes from this end. Yep, that end goes in pretty tight, but so this is the end that needs to be cut one more time, kind of from maybe 5/8 back or something like that. 5/8 of the way there. All right, now it goes in tight all the way. That is just perfect, and it's smooth as it can be. And now I need to figure out how to get that thing out of there. All right, that's how tight we want it, but I need to cut a hole right here in order to be able to get a finger grab, so I can use it to grab, hold my finger on it and pull it out. So when we need to replace this, because this is going to be, remember, this is the zero clearance, and the saw blade will be going through here, and that'll get kind of wallowed out a little bit. It won't be as good. I mean, it may be another couple of years before I need to worry about replacing this. But we'll be able to do that. So that's it. Next thing I'm going to do is put some T-tracks along here. I've got the T-tracks already, and I'm not going to show you that part. This is the part I wanted to show you how to do. And the two key parts of it were getting the 7 degrees exactly right, building a ramp like this so you could put on a shooting board plane. And by the way, the shooting board plane, or the shooting board itself, is ramped. So you see the piece is ramped up here, but the plane runs along this flat part right here. And the reason it does that is that way we get to use more than just one part of the edge. As it comes down, it starts kind of in the middle of the edge, if it's a longer piece, and then it starts using different parts of the edge, so you're not wearing it out all the time like that. So the ramp worked perfectly. The plane was plenty sharp, so I can get very thin slices, and I was close enough on the table saw to where I didn't have to do it too many different times. And the depth of this, so the depth of this cut, so that this board is completely flush with this surface, is a critical measurement, and we got that just right as we put it on there. And the 7 degree angle was proper, and then getting it the right width by sneaking up on it with this hand plane, taking a couple of thousandths of an inch off at a time. And then I had to kind of take a little bit more off one end than the other, not because, maybe it is pretty close, but both ends can be slightly different depending upon how much that plane is taking off. And this is working really well. So, okay, folks, I think that's good. I'll do another video, show you this thing in action when I actually build some dovetails. But that was the critical part of making this this sled work. This is this. Let me show you the sled itself. Hey, this is a diagram of the jig itself from the Woodsmith plans. Just wanted you to see the construction of it. So, by the way, this was the jig I used to cut that ramp with, those pieces for that ramp, and then I glued them together. And then this cutting board, or this table saw dovetail jig, this is going to be the thing that the fence is fastened to. The fence is going to go in front of that. And then I've got 3 lines on this board. Those lines, this will be lined up at one end here, and actually this is a curve this end so that it can pivot on one end here, and you'll line it up right there for doing the pins, and you'll line it up right there for doing the tails, and the blade will be tilted, and then the blade comes up straight. You have to change blades to get a good flat top, and you'll do the pins. And so that line will line up with that 7 degrees on this side, and then it'll line up with that 7 degrees on this side, and this gets mounted to the front of this, and so it's going to move with it. And we'll have the T-track in there for stops, because the stops will be critical. You'll see that when we get there. These are the braces that go on there. That brace, 4 braces to hold this upright, because we're going to clamp the tall board for the drawer sides and the drawer fronts and drawer back to that. It'll be clamped here, and then the saw will run through here. I haven't made the cut in here yet, but this piece on the front is just simply glued and screwed on here for the sake of keeping this thing stable, because I'm going to cut the board almost in half, and you need the front half to be together, and this back half won't be cut. It'll be together as well. So that'll keep it nice and square. Talk to y'all later. Later.